What's up, guys? Our Wrestling Podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious along with Jess the Total Package, Craig the British Bulldog, and Cuz. Joe is off this week, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Can someone shut up and feed me today's topic?
Dave, my God. We're going to do...
In your house.
We're going to do
Final
WWF
Four.
in your house, the Final Four from February of 1997. Last year, there was a German of an idea in my head, and I wanted to do this pay-per-view. And here we are in fucking February. We have a loaded February. We're doing the main event. We're doing Hogan versus Andre, and we're doing this goddamn fucking pay-per-view, which was in February. And Final Four is really talked about. Everybody brings this up, and I don't know why I've waited this long to do it. Cuz has badgered me for decades, 50 years. Yeah. He's been like, seriously. He's been like, my God, why don't we do this pay-per-view? And so finally I just said, I had you guys do something else. And like 2 days before, I said, can we fucking scratch that and do... Because
we're like, because none of us watched the other one.
And Cuz was like, fuck yeah, finally, fuck. Like, so it's, we're doing...
It's about time.
WWF
For audio fans, give us a listen on
Four.
Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast. Or watch our videos on YouTube at Al Wrestling Channel. If you keep talking, people don't know where to go. On social media, give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019 or at Facebook Meta at Our Wrestling Podcast.
Good on Meta.
Good. Stop talking so people can hear where to go.
Social media, my God.
It's weird. All right. In Your House Final Four, February 16th, 1997, is in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the UTC Arena. We have 6,399 people in attendance.
Jim Ross says, I've been in this building a lot of times. I've never seen this crowd in this Chattanooga ITC Center so pumped.
Like it's hard to sell at 6,400
And then you just said,
okay.
max is 7,000 people.
Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler are on the mic with the interviewers by Kevin Kelly and Doc Hendricks. Howard Finkel is our ring announcer, almost as always. Jess, I'm going to turn it over to you for our champions on the WCW trend. What's going on over there?
WCW at this time was firmly putting their foot in the WWF's ass. This is February of 1997. The NWO is running wild. The WCW World Heavyweight Champion is Hollywood Hogan. The United States Champion is Eddie Guerrero. The television champion is Lord Steven Regal, which the night after this pay-per-view on Monday Nitro, he would lose to Prince Iaukea, which we've all lost to Prince Iaukea at a time or two. And then the WCW World Tag Team Champions are the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. This was
crazy.
To put it in, WCW was firmly in control at this point. The beginning of 97 was absolutely fire for WCW. NWO was running wild, setting ratings record on Nitro. But WWF here, you see a lot of little things in this pay-per-view that start to plant the seeds for the Attitude Era that would come later in the year. So this is I agree with Cuz. I don't know why I waited this long. This pay-per-view, there's a lot of things on this pay-per-view that are embedded in my mind when you talk about the march to the Attitude Era to finally like WWF taking the reign back from WCW.
And just real quick, like what you talked about the competitive environment, but like what led to this match? Like obviously this match is obviously, in spoiler alert, revolving around a Final Four resulting from Royal Rumble. But what's the WWF version of what caused this?
So WWF locker room was in turmoil here. So at the Royal Rumble 1997, what happened was Stone Cold wins it, quote unquote. But he was thrown over the top rope by Bret, but the refs were on the other side of the ring, breaking up like Terry Funk and somebody else.
It happens,
and they did not see Austin get thrown over. So Austin comes back in the ring. The Final Four in the Royal Rumble at this point were Austin, Bret, Vader, and Undertaker. So that was the Final Four. Austin rolls back in on the outside. Vader and Taker get thrown over the top rope. I want to say by Austin, right?
Yeah, and I think we should bring that up too, because if people go back and watch it and be like, well, Diesel was in there, it's like, yeah, but Diesel was eliminated by Bret Hart. Austin went in there, he eliminated Taker and Vader. Bret threw Diesel out, and then Austin.
Well, it was a fake Diesel, cuz it was a fake Diesel.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's a good reason.
But no, you're right. You are right. Like the fake Diesel was the Final Five. Oh my God! So yeah, so
You
they
don't
did.
matter. Oh my god.
So the legal man.
So yeah,
got the
Vader
fake
and
diesel out.
Undertaker get thrown over the top rope together, and then Brett thought he had already eliminated Austin. So Brett went to celebrate, which he did actually eliminate Austin, but the refs were on the other side of the ring at the time.
Right.
So Austin crawls back
happens.
in under. He helps eliminate Vader and Undertaker, and then Brett puts his hands up in the air because Brett's like, I fucking won. And then Austin throws Brett out, and then Austin technically wins the 1997 Royal Rumble.
Which is actually kind of dumb because Bret Hart didn't know that Taker and Vader were out. And if he did, he would have saw that Austin got them out.
Right. Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
I think
I don't
it
know.
was
I
Austin
just,
that got him out.
it was something, a random thought. I'm like, well, why would Bret Hart
But maybe
celebrate?
Brett did. Maybe Brett threw him out. Cuz do you think or no?
No.
So
I
crazy
thought it was
question-
Austin too. No, I'm remembering Austin too, but I thought maybe Brett might have thrown
No,
him out or
Austin
whatever.
did. Austin
Crazy
did
question
that.
on the timeline here, guys, because normally the winner of the Royal Rumble ends up getting to wrestle the champion. Did
Well,
that
that
still
is,
happen?
and that was supposed to be the stipulation.
Yeah,
So
that was the
Austin
stipulation.
should have gotten it, but the next night on Raw, the president of the World Wrestling Federation said negatory. Austin, technically, he won the Royal Rumble, but we're not going to give him that title shot because he kind of fucking cheated. So they did the whole thing. At the same time, we're going to get to it in this. And my rage is right now, it's calm. I'm calm. But when Dave talks about it later, somebody losing their fucking smile gives up the World Wrestling Federation Championship and throws it all into turmoil. So now Shawn Michaels forfeits the WWF title. He won the title back that same night from Sid Vicious or Sid Justice, whatever you want to call him. Sid, Psycho Sid. Michaels wins the title back. So the winner of the Royal Rumble, it was technically supposed to be Shawn Michaels in Austin, if you go with the winners. But they changed it. Michaels is a bitch and forfeited the title. And now the final four, the main event of this pay-per-view, is the final four from the Royal Rumble. So they did a really good storyline in a panic mode because Michaels forfeited it last minute.
All right. So before the first match starts, we get a lot of talk about Michaels, and I just gotta say is me no likey. I don't like any of this.
So
I lost my smile and
to open it up, can I say that it's like Kermit the Frog Michaels?
well, Vince,
I lost my smile.
Piggy. So
it's like Yoda.
I
Michaels.
put in the beginning, thank goodness Vince isn't on commentary. I was so sick of all these in your house. It was like, oh, hello. And
Well,
Vince
we've
said
seen
it
a
was-
lot of in your houses. We even saw some rumbles we reviewed recently, just with Vince on there. Vince with Kurt Hennig, and it
makes me
was
crazy.
painful. It's painful.
I loved Vince with Ventura back in the 80s, but at this point, I was tired of Vince, and I was so relieved to see Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross, who would become the
Jerry
iconic
Lawler's
announced
fucking great,
team. It was
There's
great.
nothing
It was
better.
What'd you say,
It was
guys?
refreshing.
I
It
said
was
Jerry Lawler
refreshing.
was fucking great. He was. I was cracking up the whole time, like watching the whole pay per view.
Dude, like
His
and they were
comments.
their early classic here, man. Like Jim Ross was just I miss Jim
on
Ross
it.
so much.
He was just on it.
There, I know it's not the main event yet, but just one comment of Jerry Lawler because I don't want to forget it. When one of the times when Undertaker gets thrown out, Jerry Lawler goes, "He's out! He's out!"
Yeah.
He went through the ropes. I was like, "No, he's not."
So
Just
good.
shit like that Jerry Lawler would do.
I just started off. I was so glad that it was going to be Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler.
Let's get
We'll
into
get into
match
Rumble
number
tomorrow.
one. Jess,
That'll probably be cut.
We got Leaf Cassidy versus Mark Miro. I'm just gonna tell you, I give it a B minus. Lots of attention to Sable here because you knew Vince was just enamored of her at this point. She got so much TV time.
So much.
Almost too much. But you know what? Honestly, they put a good match on, and I love the awesome shooting star splash for Miro to get the win. I gave it a C plus to B minus, and then I wrote, "Why was Honky there?" So what do you got?
He's
Cuz?
talking.
His leg, making the time. Merrill's version of the shooting star press. He misses this, Ross will kill himself now. You talk about high risk. It's all or nothing. Leap, move. Oh, he got it. Oh, no. Merrill caught it. And the Wild Man wins it. A hard-fought victory for Ron Mark Merrill, but a victory nonetheless.
I gave it just a solid C plus.
Okay.
Just straight up C plus. I liked it. I enjoyed it, but you know,
Yeah, I give it a B minus, and I thought the same thing. I
team
haven't
with Mark
seen
Jannetty, sorry.
many. I haven't seen many matches with Leaf Cassidy
Already
before
tagged
before
with
he was
Marty
out
Jannetty.
snow.
Right?
But
Marty
it was
Jannetty.
interesting to see the move set. I think It's overplayed. They tried hard.
Jess, what do you got?
I hated this opening match. I gave it because of the pairing. I gave it a C+.
Yeah.
Because there
okay.
wasn't a better opponent from Mero. Mero is like one of your top middle card guys. And you put him in there against a lower tier tag team wrestler because he was tag teaming with Marty Jannetty, Leaf Cassidy was here, as the new Rockers. So why? And Sable wearing sunglasses was triggering me the entire time.
It was
weird.
Yeah.
Wearing sunglasses.
But Jerry Lawler made a good point.
Because it was a good, solid
so
wrestling match, but I gave it a C+ because I'm like, why the fuck is this opening a pay-per-view? Why? Why are you putting your mid-card guy? Sable was hot at this time, and Mero was still pushed as like a mid-card guy, a top mid-card guy. He was former Intercontinental Champion at this point. Why put him in there with a tag team wrestler? It makes no sense. C+, but I mean that in a negative way.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I see where you're going.
It bothered me.
So we get a recap of the Michaels saga. That
Okay, stop. Shut the fuck up. Stop.
Hey, Jess.
So this was the video of the fucking bullshit. This is the infamous I lost my smile promo.
I'm with you, Jess.
And they played the majority of it.
God.
And let me tell you,
don't hurt yourself.
Every good Jedi says, don't give in to the hate. If Vader felt half as good as I felt watching this and reliving my hatred for Shawn Michaels, I'm glad he fucking put on a black cloak and a black mask, because I over the years, as we've done this podcast and that we've reviewed stuff, I've been like, you know what, softer on Michaels. God, he was such a good performer. God, he was so that. And I watched this like vignette here and this whole recap of him giving away his smile and giving up the WWF title, and I hated him all over again. I fucking hate Shawn Michaels. I hate him so fucking much.
Find my smile.
I watched this and I realized again, I was like, oh, I hate you so fucking much.
Yeah.
Because WCW is beating the shit out of you in this point. All you had to do is be a team player and team with Brett. Can you imagine if him and Brett were on the same page? It wouldn't have been as bad. The NWO would have definitely overtaken wrestling, but the down period here in WWF in the first half of 97 is almost drove Vince to going back to territory thoughts, to being back a small territory. Wow. That's how bad WCW was beating them in the beginning of 97. And fucking Brett and Shawn couldn't get on the same page, and this fucking faker, phony, cocksucker motherfucker gets on here and he's like, I don't know. And he's looking at the owner of the company, which hasn't been outed yet.
And he doesn't make eye contact with him.
And he's fucking standing there with the owner of the company going, I don't know where I'm at mentally. I don't know. You fucking piece of shit. I hate Shawn Michaels. I hate him for this. I hate him for not being a team player. This fucking phony, his knee was fine. They found out 2 weeks later that all he had to have was a scope. This motherfucking lying sack of shit got on there and acted like, I might lose my leg. It might fall off. I might fall asleep tonight. My leg, someone's going to take my leg. I don't know what happened to it.
But I understand.
Gangrene.
That's what he meant, Dave. And so, Dave, shut up, Dave.
My knee.
Shut up.
Honky Tonk Man walks into the ring and nobody knows why.
And for no reason.
We get the recap of Michaels.
He's bad.
You know, the retaping of what happens with Michaels. And then we get an interview with Sid, which was kind of weird that he wasn't on the card. We roll back to the ring and Honky disappears.
Let me tell you the story.
Honky's gone.
No, legitly in the storyline, because liar piece of shit gave up his
Sid
title.
lost his match.
Yeah, so Sid is waiting. So basically, Sid lost at Royal Rumble to Michaels, and then Michaels lied and gave up his title. Then after that, what Vince did real quick, he's like, the winner of the Final Four will not only be the WWF champion, but will face Sid the next night on Monday Night Raw.
I just wonder why you don't give Sid something.
No, you do.
Well, they do at the end.
No, you do. You do. Not even that.
All right.
You don't get a match. He gets everything the next night on Raw. Everything. Literally.
I get that. All right, match number 2. We got Flash Funk, Goldust, and Bart Gunn versus the Domination. I gave this a C, and I'm probably being generous. I just wrote, it's kind of a weird hodgepodge. I don't get the pairings, and I can't get through it.
Got the match won! Bart Gunn has got the match won! Oh! On the back of the head! You gotta watch your back at all times! What a leg drop on the back of the head! And the Nation of Domination are gonna steal this one!
Here are your winners, the Nation of Domination.
There you
So
go.
I
Take it away.
gave it a B-.
Oh.
But everything at the beginning, Flash Funk's entrance was like 30 minutes. It seemed like.
Seriously.
Why?
I
in
kind
the
of
world?
enjoyed it, I'm not gonna lie.
So Craig, you were wrong.
Oh.
They weren't like the Shield. They were like the current faction that was kicking their fucking ass.
NWO.
The NWO, which came out from the crowd. Why would you let the Nation come out from the crowd when you know literally the next night on Nitro, the NWO was going to do the same thing because they'd been doing that before? It made no sense that they had the Nation of Domination come out through the crowd because NWO had been doing that for 7 months and beating the dog shit out of them in the ratings. It makes no sense. Why do anything like the competition to remind your fans that are actually buying your pay-per-view at this point, which very few were,
To
and
change
be
the
like,
channel on
oh,
Monday?
that reminds me of the NWO. They're doing the same thing the NWO does. It doesn't make any sense. However, the spot on the outside, so they start the match. And then the faces punch the heels, all the heels powder outside the ring, right? And then Flash Funk does a dive over the top rope and collapses Farouk and Crush. I at first was like, oh, fucking Savio was out of position. He didn't get hit. And he didn't get hit. But then the second Flash stood up, Savio ran over and clotheslined him.
Yep.
Instantly. And I was like, dude, we do not see psychology like that. This is a 6-man tag, a throwaway match. We do not see psychology like that in today's wrestling at all. It was genius. And they threw him back in the ring, and I got instantly into the match from that.
Trendsetter Savio Vega next week. Just saying.
I was at how smart was that in this match? He was.
Legacy. Here we go.
Crush was terrible. And but Flash Funk.
How did
was
Crush
this-
get a Nation of Domination invite?
Yeah, I'm there C plus B minus because there were some spots once again that were kind of clunky. You could tell there was some points where they were all brawling and stuff, and they're like, oh shit, like waiting for someone to move out of the way, and Crush, of course, I actually I know we know what the best version of the Nation of Domination was, but I actually loved this version of the Nation, and they just made it seem so serious, and they made it seem so real. Like they made you believe it was real, and I actually, when I'm younger here, I'm like 11 years old or whatever, and I'm like, these guys are like legit scary. Like these guys scared me.
Yeah.
Like Crush,
Yeah.
Savio, Farouk, all those guys.
Well, not
Farouk
Crush,
never
but-
let his guard down. Like the way he was stepping on
Yeah,
his
if you're a kid,
opponents
Crush
and the
is a
way
scary
he was. He was great.
But there was a lot of good, parts of this match, like Flash Funk, that what Jess mentioned, and then there was that another time where Bart Gunn throws Flash Funk out, and what was cool about that is they all caught him instead of
punched
usually where
him.
it would have been like, yeah, and they all beat the shit out of him.
Yeah,
instead
they'll
of
beat the
where like
shit out
now
of
they
him.
all
So
be just
good.
That was cool.
So good. Yes,
like
yes.
yeah, I noticed that. That was awesome. I
Yeah.
love that segment
So
right there
good.
too. But yeah, I give it, I guess I can go B minus.
I noticed little stuff like that, and I was like, God, so good.
Yeah,
like
exactly,
it's
same here.
not
Yeah,
in wrestling.
they
but
changed the
psychology.
norm on it. When after this match, Doc Hendricks interviews Austin, and I don't know
Oh,
why.
this is fucking
this
great.
was clunky.
I don't.
It
it's
was though.
clunky.
Austin did
I honestly
stumble
think
over
it was
it, too.
kind of whiny. Like Austin's making excuses,
Yeah.
and I don't get that. Like Austin doesn't make
Well, he's a heel.
excuses. Oh, you want to tell me I did something wrong? Let me go pound you into the dirt.
No,
like, it was just different.
because he was still kind of a not chicken shit heel, but he was like that dastardly heel still.
He was trying to be a heel here, and
Yeah.
they didn't really know that. Oh, by what we should turn him face. They had no idea at this point they should turn him face.
Yeah.
It was after Brett WrestleMania 13.
There's
But
so
Austin-
much-
16 shirts in
Yeah.
there.
To your point, there's so much going on here that is so weird because they haven't found their place yet. and the next match is the prime example of that. We have match number 3.
Please, Dave, go.
Oh God, Rocky Maivia versus Hunter Hearst Hemsley.
And
for the-
Rocky Maivia is the IC champion.
yeah,
Defending
he's
against
for the
Hunter.
IC championship.
He just won it from Hunter.
And by the way, this is what I put, and you guys might shit on me, but I put B-. I said this is so weird. The move sets that we see here is
Yes.
nowhere near
Yes.
what they evolved to.
Yes.
Which was kind of fun for me. I was like,
awesome.
oh, Rocky's doing fucking presses off the top rope. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a pretty well built match. It kind of got weird in the schmoss at the end. I think there were some misses, which is why it doesn't get a higher grade. But I also wrote Goldust provides the distraction for Rocky to get the win. While we also see the debut of China, which is also a big deal for me. So B-.
Oh, Helmsley got to look out. No! And Busby with a suplex and the bridge and the big
That's what I wrote. So what's
That's
next?
why
Who do you guys got?
why I'll give it a B because of the debut. I thought they did good. Had a good match, and like you said, it was awesome to see what this is not the moveset that they're using, and probably that had something to do with Pat Patterson as far as like your reference to Rock jumping off the rope doing crossbodies, because Randy Orton had a story where he said Pat Patterson told me like you don't need to be doing crossbodies off the top rope, you don't need to be doing this. So Pat Patterson probably had a play in that as well. Probably told Rock you don't need to be jumping off. You're 6'5".
Actually, because not to cut you off, but actually in all of Bruce Pritchard's podcast, he said that during the Attitude Era, like he loved Austin. Don't get me wrong, but Pat Patterson loved The Rock.
Yeah. That was Pat Patterson's favorite.
From the beginning, Pat Patterson gravitated towards him. So it's interesting you said that. I'm just playing off what you said. Yeah. Like that, Pat Patterson loved The Rock. Absolutely loved him.
And then and seeing that, and he probably had influence on that. That's probably why The Rock, came up with the moveset that he came up with eventually. And the debut of China at the end was awesome. Just seeing that. And what was awesome was the fans sitting right there. Like there was a chick, so I was watching it with two of my friends. We were watching it on Discord, and I was streaming it for them, and we're just watching it.
Oh, cool!
And just their reaction, like they pointed out, like look at that chick right next to them. Like there was a chick literally like this, like scared that China was attacking. Like
China really looked like she was hurting.
Yeah.
How much she would? Get him, Hunter! Who the hell's that? Who is that? In the world? Is that a woman? Security taking that lady away. Good grief. We want you to have a good time, folks, and that may be taking a little bit overboard.
Because
how would you know that that's fake, right? Like you came out of nowhere. Like
because they're showing it on replay. If it was a real fan, they wouldn't show it on replay. But but it was still awesome to see that. It was awesome. So yeah, I give it a B, solid B.
But to your point, if you're in the crowd, you don't know. So I'm sorry, Jess. What did you? Exactly. You already came in. What were you grading it, buddy?
I gave it a B.
Nice.
My veer was rough in the beginning, but Craig's gonna get really mad at me. I gave Hunter Hearst Helmsley so much fucking credit for taking the lead in this match as the heel.
Yes, you could
tell.
And
it became very solid. Maivia wins and defends the title with a back suplex after Goldust distracted Triple H. And then I completely forgot. I literally completely forgot about that China debuted here. I totally forgot about it.
I give it a B-. I thought it was good. It was very, to all your points, watching like Rocky Maivia versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley before Triple H and their movesets and how they work together. And considering they must have had hundreds of matches together after this when they were both at their peak. But like, you could tell they wanted to steal the show. They didn't have the psychology and it was all like a hodgepodge of stuff, but it was still really good and fun to watch. But it's amazing too. Like, watching this, I didn't see them as The Rock and Triple H. I saw it as a lower card match, and I almost was like, bleh. Even watching it, knowing that these two dudes were two of the dudes that you could put on Mount Rushmore of WWF.
All right, match number 4. We have Doug Furnas and Phil LaFawn versus the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, and Owen Hart.
Tag team champions, Davey Boy and
I gave this. You guys are probably gonna. You guys are like, no, you didn't. I gave this a B.
No,
and I'm telling you, these guys are not known for work. That I mean, they're not known for, but they really can work. Doug and Phil, they did great in the build that they can do, but the storyline being built here on Owen and
Bulldog Jim Carrey and
was amazing.
Kill him on SNL.
What Doug and Phil?
Doug and Phil.
Like totally amazing watching the British Bulldog and Owen fall apart in this match on an ongoing storyline. And I know it ended in a DQ, which I hate. I hate that stuff, but it didn't bother me here because it wasn't like they were wrestling somebody of a name. So it was purposeful.
You're going against everything you always say.
I did. I am. I totally am. This is like my one weird exception because
don't worry, I'm going to agree with you.
The storyline is so deliberate that it's about them falling apart, and they didn't wrestle anybody of mid card or top card persona. You're wrestling prelims that can really work though, and carry the match while they're fighting with each other.
Whoa! Who do you call them prelims?
Doug and Phil.
No, absolutely not.
They were not prelims.
They were not prelims.
Okay, what else have they done? What matches have they won? What titles do they have?
No, titles is irrelevant actually.
Okay, hold on. It matters here. Everybody got a title.
No,
back
they
in
were
these days.
they got the title shot here because actually Paul Heyman brought them over from ECW, and they went here. They were pitched as top guys. They were not prelims. It was not like a Saturday
this
morning
is Mark
wrestling.
City right now. If you watch it back, hey, what you watch it on Discord, cuz? Let's pass it to you.
Yeah.
What did your friends say about this, guys? Who the fuck are these guys, right?
Yeah, they didn't
Who the
know
fuck are
them.
these guys? I don't know them.
Yeah, they didn't know them.
Prelims,
But it
you
doesn't mean they're
misworded
prelims,
that.
yeah.
Prelims.
Jess,
Stop
you're
it.
marking out hard.
They're from-
I understand what
No,
you're
I'm
saying.
not. No, I'm not.
The only
I
reason you
understand
think
what
they're
you're
prelims is
saying.
because they were already in
They
the
were
ring
on
without
WWF
their-
television, Dave, and
Yeah.
they actually were undefeated at this point. They were on WWF television, undefeated, purposely put in this position to challenge.
I'm
for the
so
world title.
glad you gave them a platform here today. Why don't you give the grade? Go ahead. You go ahead.
They weren't just some locals that showed
I'm
up.
sorry I
and then-
triggered you, but I gave
I'm not
it a B.
triggered. I'm not triggered at all. Like you're just making
You
a bigger deal
absolutely
than it
are.
has to be.
Yes, you are. I gave it a B. I thought it was a good.
We have the
story
same
with Owen
grade,
and
and he's fucking He's triggering me, Craig. He's
No,
triggering me
I'm
now.
not triggering you. You called him a.
See,
prelim.
now he says he's not triggering me. I don't understand.
Could you stop for a minute? Let me talk. You pass it over to me. And let me talk. You called them a prelim, which is absolutely ridiculous
They're not.
on your part.
Now who's
Like
triggered?
just because you didn't
They
know
had
who they
so
are
much
doesn't
offense in
mean
here.
they're prelims.
They did. They had a ton of offense. It was great.
Just
I
because,
loved it.
because Dave doesn't know who they are does not mean they're prelims. So let me clear that, and then we'll just move on from this because Dave's ridiculous for saying that word. We all know that prelims mean something totally different than what Dave just said. So anyway, so now that we moved on from that, I gave him a B. It was a great story with Davey and Owen having issues.
Why is he so
This
mad?
was a fucking fantastic tag match because they're not prelims and they're fucking fantastic.
Owen's got that slammy in his hand. Here we go. Hard to ring the slam. Come on. Ring the bell. It's over. Owen Hart. What? Bulldog thinks he's won it with his power slam, but Owen Hart causes a disqualification. That's slamming. And the Bulldog can't believe it. Nor does he like it.
Losing this bout as a result of a disqualification, the team of Doug Furnace and W.W.F.
That's all right. Owen them still got the belts. Look at Owen. No problem.
The ending was ridiculous. Why, when Bulldog had them up in the power slam, that Owen said, "I'm going to hit him now with a slammy," makes no sense. The ending was weird.
He did it on purpose. He yelled it 5 times.
he was yelling
did it
that.
on purpose. He
So
did
I
it on
would've given-
purpose.
I had him. I had a beat.
So yeah, you could tell they were totally forcing the story. I would have given the match an A- if not for the weird ending, which made no sense. But I still gave it a B. That's how good this match was. These guys were fucking amazing. All 4 of them were amazing.
Yeah,
in it.
they're working hard.
Yeah.
Like so, yeah.
So
anyway,
why aren't you upset for the way they treated him? That's not cool.
What do you mean treated them?
How do tag team champions get in an actual fight in a match with each other and still not lose the titles?
Because he hit him with the trophy. and got
Disqualification.
disqualified.
I get the disqualification. You treated those guys like shit. You're saying they're top notch guys.
What?
No, you're saying that they treated them like shit to justify you calling them
They did.
prelim, which I disagree
No,
with
I'm
you.
not
had so
saying
much
they
offense in there.
did. Shouldn't
They
you be
didn't
more
treat 'em
upset
like
about
shit.
it? You should be upset about that.
I just said I docked him a whole grade because like the finish was stupid.
I'm saying that you need to be upset about it.
No, you want me to agree with you, and I don't. So
If I can
move on to the
interject.
next match.
They're not
Can
that
I
important, Jess. That's
If
the
I
whole
can
point. That's why they
interject.
were able to do this.
Oh no, I agree with you. They're not important, but they're not prelims, Dave.
Yeah.
My whole thing in the beginning.
No
was
one
that
should be
they're
considered a
not prelims.
prelim. They're all talented. They all work really hard. I
Right.
That has
And-
nothing to do with what a prelim is.
And if I can
So, again,
interject, I will give the match a B, a solid B, and I don't give a fuck what happens to Doug Furnace and Phil. Blah blah blah.
Thanks, Craig.
He's
no,
not agreeing with you. He's
but
not
I'm not
calling
saying. I'm
them
saying that
prelims.
as in
Don't
they're
clap
not
too hard.
prelims. They were like they did house shows. They were on television. They did well. They were like this upper, just at the center of the card, knowing that they weren't going
I
to
love how
win
we're
that
defending
night. But
these
they
guys
weren't.
right
They
now.
weren't prelims. They were not like Sunny Beach and Iron Mike Sharp. They just like
Iron
were
He's
Mike
that.
now realizing that everybody's against him, so he's laughing like, I triggered
No, it's
you.
not
I
even
said
that. Like
prelims,
Iron
you're
Mike
not
is more
perfect."
well known than these guys, right?
Who?
Who?
Who's well known more?
Iron
well-known?
Mike Sharp, to a mark, knows them better than these guys do.
Well, I mean, maybe that's a fair comment.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, we know Iron Mike Sharp probably more than them. You know
Yeah.
Iron Mike Sharp.
But
Let me
the
rephrase
match
it. You
was
know
good.
Iron Mike Sharp more than them.
The match was good. They teased quite a bit of Bulldog and Owen breaking up throughout the whole thing, even from the beginning when Bulldog comes out, flexes, and Owen. I kind of love it.
Owen gets in
you
front
feel
of him.
like it's
Owen
an
goes on
inside
him.
rib between
God,
them
it's so
when
good.
Owen
So good.
Bulldog flexes, Owen runs up and then comes
Shows
underneath
his
his
slammies.
bicep in front of the camera. It's like, I got it. But there's a lot of like discussion back and forth and talking in this match. I want to say that like Owen says something like, you almost broke my slammy. Like on the way out, which made me laugh. I think I
Threw
read
it
lips.
down, didn't he? He's
He did
like,
break
get
the
this
slamming.
fucking thing out. He threw it
Yeah,
down.
but that's all Bulldog said was like, I had to beat piece of
So I had
shit.
a bait, and they hit him with the thing.
He turned into my father, basically.
Aw.
Colin Smith.
I hope Colin's
But
doing well.
it was good. It was, and then WrestleMania. They didn't break up. They were still together at WrestleMania, so it was a very slow build to that.
I don't
But
think they
it
ever
wasn't
broke up. They
bad.
never
This
broke
was
up.
not bad. It was
No, because
good.
that's when Bret Hart came in and did the whole like
Yeah,
they're turning
he
us
joined the
against each
Hart-
other.
Yeah.
I give the match. I give it a B plus. I enjoyed the match. I actually understood the ending because to me that was because dude, look at like the match was fucking good. Like there was like a portion of that match where it was like Suplex City, like Doug
Just
Furness
so
and
good.
Phil LaFon just suplexing Owen Hart, and then Owen Hart trying to put them away. And it was like I think that's what the whole thing was. Owen Hart was like, "Fuck it, we've been hitting them with everything, and we're not getting along, and we can't put these guys away. I'm gonna fucking hit."
I'm gonna
to
take
me,
the
that's what I
DQ.
saw from that ending.
Yeah.
There was a few
That's a
spots
good
that were
point.
kind of clunky, but god damn it, man, just the double team moves from Doug Furness and Phil.
Some good
Like,
stuff.
oh
on Owen
my
yeah.
Hart
God,
were
yes.
fucking crazy.
Yes.
And
Bull-
these guys had great matches with fucking RVD and Sabu and ECW.
Yeah.
They fucking had a feud with them, and they wrestled in All Japan. So they're not like they're not your fucking.
and Bulldog is in great
Oh,
shape
they're
here, not
prelims, fuck 'em.
flappy.
They're prelims, fuck 'em, Dave says.
No one knows who they are.
But they're not prelims.
not-
Okay,
That doesn't
There's a
mean
lot of
they're
wrestlers that are not
Okay,
prelims. that
they're
no one
not
knows who they
prelims.
are.
I'll give you that. Does anybody know who they are?
That's all. That's it. Rest the case right there.
Okay. Do you know who they
maybe
are
all of
beyond a
us.
mark? You don't know. So settle down. Let's get to match number
Beyond
5.
a mark, anybody who watched WWF television
That was never
at this
the
time would
point.
have known who they were.
You were saying they're prelims.
If you're
We're not
watching
talking about
WWF Television
they're not.
97, you're a mark.
Dave, you don't know who they
You're
were.
ridiculous.
You don't.
I wasn't watching
You don't know who
WWF
they were.
97. I had to go back
You
and
don't
watch
know
this
who-
for the first
You don't know
time.
who they were. You don't. You don't.
Exactly. Marks do. You're welcome.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
Marks do. You're ridiculous. Anyway, move on.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay.
You're sorry.
We got Doc interviewing The Undertaker, which to your point was weird and awkward again. We get a Rumble recap that nobody understands. And then Bret Hart is interviewed right before the match starts. I don't like stuff like that unless it's like vignette and pre-recorded. I know that sounds lame, but these like live things, I don't get.
I dig the fact
mean,
that
like,
it
right
was
before it came
real.
out?
I did the fact that it was live. I dig the fact when I watched it, I had no idea who won this actually main event.
Yeah.
But he said whoever does it, like, and I was trying to kind of read his body language about whether he's going to win or not. But when he says like who made the best man win, me, and then it followed him all the way through with pink light through the curtain and then to the back. I thought that was actually very, very fucking cool.
Yeah, I'll give the match an A. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to leave it there. But here's what you have to factor into where they were and where they were going. We talked about it earlier. The Rock is Rocky Maivia wrestling. Hunter herself is going to be Triple H. These guys are going to be at the top of the card for years. And Stone Cold Steve Austin is not even, like I said, last to come out in the final match. He gets eliminated first.
Yeah.
It's everything's backwards.
Yeah.
It's like you're living in a whole other world in this paper.
It's weird to see
what we know about The Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H. Oh my gosh, it's incredible to think about where they went and what happens in this pay-per-view. It is really this weird lock in time that you'll never see again. You never see it. It is fascinating, but I gave the match an A. I love watching it. I thought it was, like you said, Jess put it perfectly. They put a great match together while they were kind of on their heels, not knowing what to do because Michael just decided he had to go. Which I don't want to talk anymore about that because it does anger me too. But this was a great idea considering what they were up against. They had to put the title on somebody quickly, and it worked out really, really well.
That's a perfect statement, actually. Like when you watch this in like a vacuum, you're like, none of this makes any sense. Like Austin,
it's incredible.
like, you just don't, because you know what they become, and you're just like, oh my god, like this is totally not like. But you have to watch the beginning stages, right, before it matures. I give this an A. I vividly remember Vader bleeding in this match. I remember that being like a big thing.
Good call.
In this match. And Dave and I were talking before we hit record, and Dave's like, when exactly did he get cut? I believe it was when Undertaker hit him with the chair.
Yeah.
Vader had the leather mask on.
Yeah.
And I think the straps that come down over Vader's eyes, the chair hit that and just cut his eye.
When he got the boot in the face.
Or if it wasn't that, he got thrown into the stairs right afterwards. I'm pretty sure it was the mask, but he might have gotten cut hard way.
It's the chair shot for sure.
The chair.
I agree with you on that one, and like it was just crazy.
Cole, Bret Hart 1 count away from elimination, and Vader, my God! 2, no disqualification to say the least, and Vader, he's busted. Vader's bleeding. Undertaker, has busted Vader's eye open. I don't know if the punch did it or when he threw him into these metal steps. Listen, this.
Vader was the MVP in this match, and
he was.
He really was.
To simply put this was WCW Vader. This was the Vader that I wanted to see when he came into the WWE 13 months before this match, and we never got it. And I think at this point, Vader wasn't pushed anymore. Sid replaced Vader in the whole storyline with Michaels. That's all been documented well before. I think Vader at this point was just like, fuck this shit, man. Because I saw a lot of times where Vader was clubbing Taker when Taker was on his knees and not giving a shit. And just going, fuck you. Like, and not fuck you as in like Undertaker's a bad person, because he's great. But I mean, like, Vader was just like, dude, I'm just going to fucking go. Yeah, when Vader knew he got cut, Vader's like, I'm going to fucking go. I'm going to fucking be WCW Vader. I can't say that was his exact thoughts, but like, he just fucking, he was the Vader that we all knew.
Yes.
He was
They went
clubbing,
25 minutes until he threw the mask off after he was cut the entire
and that's
match.
what I was talking
But it was
Dave
the
and I were
last
talking about
3
that before
minutes.
too. So so in WCW, Vader would get hit like 2 minutes into the match and take the fucking mask off. In this one, Vader, you noticed him. He made a conscious effort to keep it on the entire match. So one of two things happened. Either he got a note before this pay-per-view going, you're Vader. The mask defines you. Keep it on. Stop taking it off. Or the referee in the ear after Vader got cut, he got a message in his ear saying, tell him to keep it on because we don't want to see the cut. We want to just let the blood flow, and we don't want to see a nasty gash because even though it's pay-per-view, we don't want that on a product. So one of the two things happened. Vader made a conscious effort all match to keep that mask on. Where normally Vader would have fucking threw it off 30 seconds into the match. It was weird. And then, like we just talked about, like 2 minutes or a minute before Vader got eliminated, he finally took it off.
Yes.
Because he knew he was done. Like, so there was something weird going on there in a good way. I'm glad he kept it on. It was awesome.
Yes, it was.
This was such great chaos. I loved it. This match was good. I gave my grade in the beginning an A. It was awesome. So good.
Who's left?
Hasn't gone yet.
Cuz?
A. I give it an A. I enjoyed the match. I probably actually would have given it an A+, but once again, I think in this one too, there was a few spots where it was kind of like, it was a little clunky where like you could tell like someone wanted to Irish whip someone, but someone was in the way, and they kind of just like Vader tried to Undertaker.
Especially in the early stages, they had trouble getting to that.
I don't mean to cut you off, Cuz, but actually, in my mind, I did not write this down, but I thought this in my head. How good is Undertaker? Because you're right. Like this Fatal 4-Way was like a new concept for them. Nobody'd really done it before. I mean, ECW might have done some stuff or whatever, but like on a main stage, this hasn't been done correctly. And I watched Undertaker like be the ring general. Vader was hammering him, and Vader wanted to throw him wherever he wanted to throw him. But I watched Undertaker like purposely look to his side and watch where Brett and Austin were, and Undertaker would backpedal quickly and get in a corner. And I was like, dude, Undertaker's such a fucking pro right now. Like he's so fucking good. Like there was a spot he was just making sure. Yeah, he was the ring general. He was making sure everybody was the right way.
In these cases.
Austin and Brett,
Austin
and Brett were in the middle of the ring, and Vader was going to Irish whip him a few times. And you could tell Taker saw it, and Taker like pulled back, and you could tell Taker probably said like, start punching me up against the ropes. And then Vader just started clubbing him. I did rewind the spot. It was the chair because Taker boot the chair to his face. And I saw when he got thrown in the ropes, and I already saw blood before he hit when he got thrown in the steps.
He reached for it too, didn't he? Put his face. Yeah, he put his finger
Yeah.
in his mask. Yeah.
And I saw the blood coming out already, like on the side before he hit the steps.
There was no count outs. There was no count outs, no DQs in this match. It's pinfalls and submission, or throw them over the top rope, playing off the storyline that they were the final
of the Rumble,
which I thought was brilliant. Which I thought was
fucking great. It was great.
Yeah. Well, and you didn't hurt Austin. Austin got thrown over the top rope.
Exactly.
First,
I don't think anybody
he was
got
the
pinned,
first
right?
out.
Vader got thrown over the top rope too.
Austin was the first out thrown over.
Yeah,
Actually,
and nobody got pinned. Everybody got thrown over the top rope.
Thrown up.
Everybody.
Yep.
Somebody get Austin out of here! Undertaker knocks Austin down. There's a clothesline. Bret Hart did it. Bret Hart's the champion. Bret Hart's the champion. Bret Hart has done it. No! The Hitman. The Hitman. The Hitman.
Yeah.
And Bret
And
wins.
then at the end,
Bret wins.
Psycho Sid comes out, said, "That's mine. You heard what's mine."
And the next night on Raw, we were talking earlier, Dave, in this episode. The next night on Raw, Sid beats Bret and wins the WWF title for a second time. It's
So
crazy.
weird.
It was a crazy time. All because piece of shit baby fuck decided to give the title up.
Hey man,
God,
smile.
you
Craig, what do you
crown
got?
Q. You crown Q. It's hard.
Yeah, Craig. What do you give it, Craig?
Grade it, buddy.
What? Overall?
Grade it, buddy.
No, the
No,
match.
you didn't grade the match.
Oh, I didn't.
No, you handed it over to Cuz.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'll give it an A. I thought it was fantastic. I paused it a couple of times because I went to the bathroom and I did not want to miss it. So that's how you know when you're watching back stuff on the network that's important to you. And to see Vader at his peak, he was slimmed down. He looked good. My eyes never left Vader the entire match. He spent a lot of it outside and doing a lot of guardrail work and stair work, but like still he was phenomenal. Like he was just wonderful to see and dealt with that cut from minute 2.
Yeah.
But this might have been like they just didn't see it, man. Like they didn't see how to harness him because honestly, the year before in '96, Shawn sabotaged him. Shawn did. Fuck Shawn.
Yeah.
Like he fucking
What
sabotaged
he
him.
He said he was
They just
unsafe,
listen to Sean
right?
too much.
To jump
They said
off
it was
the rope and
unsafe.
say what did Sean yell at him when he jumped off the turnbuckle?
It was
Like,
SummerSlam '96. He jumped off the ropes, and I guess Vader was supposed to move and forgot. So Shawn jumps off the second rope to do his elbow, and Vader was supposed to move, but instead Vader stayed totally still. And then Shawn landed on his feet, and he's like, "Move, you fat fuck!" and yelled it on pay-per-view loud to him. And so then he stomped Vader right in the face. If you go back and look at it, he kicked Vader right in the face. And I'm like, dude, like, you fucking sabotaged Vader. He's a heel. He's a money-making heel. How could you do that to him? Like,
Just
when
hit
you
him
see
with
Vader
the elbow.
here-
We can work the spot again. Just do it over.
exactly.
he's
Yeah,
a drug addicted
totally.
asshole at that point. He's a piece of shit.
Whoa.
Thank you. That's why I fucking erupted at the beginning of this paper.
He's doing fantastic yoga
Yeah,
work now. You guys,
but even in the depths of his drug addiction, can make that tear at the right time fall
he's working with DDP. Come on,
right
guys.
before he leaves.
Oh, maybe DDP can correct that
It's
eye.
brilliant.
For him.
God,
Do some yoga stretches with his eye, with his retina.
everybody deserves a 30-second chance. I'm just
So real
saying.
quick overall, Dave, what do you think of the pay-per-view overall?
I'll give it like a solid B to B plus. Nothing was on entertaining. I would have preferred a hotter curtain jerker, so to speak. I would have preferred a little bit.
You don't love Leaf
more-
Cassidy, asshole.
I don't. No, I don't mind. I don't mind that portion of it. I would just want to mind a little more high flying, but it was the times, right?
Yeah.
You could argue that Owen and Bulldog could have gone first and really heated it up. That would have been cool because that was really good, and start off with a tag title match right at the get. You move things around.
That'd be good.
Yeah, you just move it around a little bit. Is all I'm saying. That's
To
all,
put prelims in the opening match, you fuck.
Yeah, they are prelims. And that's why. What are we going to
That's
do
why-
first? Not the
that's why I
storyline,
laughed.
DQ. That's what I'm saying. Thank you for agreeing with me, Jess. B plus. What do you got?
We were
What do
almost
you got,
home.
Jess?
We were almost home. Jess, that was
know.
you. That's on you.
Yeah, it's perfect.
That
You're
is on
exactly
you.
right. Thank you
Dave
for
just
agreeing
rode me
with me
like a
finally. I appreciate
Dave
that.
just rode me like a pony all the way home too.
God damn.
He was waiting and he jumped on me.
Don't know what to say. What do you got, Jess, for a grade overall?
God. I agree with you on the B. I might go A minus. I thought that like the whole pay-per-view except for the opener is poor Mark Merrill. He's like, I'm just trying my best. I don't know. Like I think the opener was weird, but I think A minus B plus.
Oh my God. Fuck off. Sorry.
What do you got, Craig?
B minus. What saves it is a fantastic 30-minute main event. The rest of it, I struggled with.
Cuz take us home, man. What you got?
Got to give it a B. Most matches I gave it like a C plus to B minus. I gave the last match an A minus. I probably would give it a B plus to A minus if it wasn't for a lot of clunkiness and like I said, the promos, a lot of them stumbling. But at the same time, it's kind of cool. It's like you're seeing them trying to grow without going off of a script that someone's given them. They're trying to come into their own with their promos. Yeah, it's a little clunky here and there, but there was some good storytelling. I enjoyed like all the matches had like good action in it. Like they had really good action. China's debut, the way the pay-per-view ended with Sid coming out, the match, the Final Four match. I enjoyed the prelims versus British Bulldog and Owen Hart. That match was fucking good. So I give it a B.
Right on. And I'm not letting anybody say anything else that does agree with me. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts.
Crazy, cuz.
Or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, can you do us a solid and give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook/Meta at Our Wrestling Podcast. For Cuz, Jess, Craig, and Butters, this is the O.W.P signing off. Have a good one.
See.